So yeah, I managed to turn on the speaker. So good morning, everybody. So let's start with meditation and always lately with a thought toward our life as Bardo practice. And so there's a lot of centering around what's called the lower dantian, or the energy center below the belly button. And we take our attention there, first of all. And the first task is to completely relax the body. So we breathe into that energy center and allow our body to deeply relax, while at the same time holding ourselves in a way that we have access to the complete energy of the central channel, the complete embodiment of the central channel, we'll say. And we allow our body to completely relax as much as we possibly can. And if you want to, you can sort of put your arms to your sides and let them dangle. And any anxieties or worldly pressures or anything that is keeping us from being completely present to our practice, we can just let go of out our fingertips and out our feet, or whatever is touching the ground as we sit. And now take the deepest breath you can, as deep in your body as it will allow. So you want to feel all the way to your feet that you are pure energy. So now that the body is relaxed, we want to relax the breath itself. And we don't try to force anything. We allow our breath to expand in whatever way is comfortable for the breath itself. And gently feel for the space between the breaths, both on the in breath and the out breath. And we drop our attention into that. And you may notice some restrictions appear as we drop our attention. And you can breathe into those wherever it is. We're noticing one in Rebecca's solar plexus, in that energy center. And whatever you feel is fine. All parts are welcome. In Bardo practice, we are releasing any internal blocks. We are freeing ourselves from any energetic restriction that keeps us from the ecstatic experience that death can be. And if the restriction that you feel is a distraction, you can still just allow it to be there and see what happens. There is no failure in this practice. That's why it's called practice. It's just noticing what is. And the next stage is we drop our experience between the thoughts. So the thoughts are no longer the important part of what's on the screen of our mind, but the space in between. And we drop our attention into that. And this is the point where often fear arises in us as we begin to feel ourselves, what's alive about ourselves, begin to separate from the body. The body is of the earth, and everything that we are made of is of the earth, except for the most important part, which is our spiritual being. So this is the part we really want to know the best, because in knowing this part, we become free from fear. So the bardo is the here and now of that which is yet to be dissolved in our inner self, our own chamber of secrets to be faced. And we just release ourselves, except that we hold to our conscious awareness. So that conscious awareness is not in or of the mind, but in the space below the belly button. Our conscious awareness is there. And of course, around the umbilicus is where both birth and death take place. When we are born as babies and the umbilicus is cut, it becomes our spiritual connection to the all that is. And as we face our death, that connection will again be cut as we return first to conscious awareness itself. And what's alive about us does not die. It's that conscious awareness. And in meeting that every day, in our Bardo practice, which is our inner work, we begin to experience joy in that space. In this moment, it may feel like joy is the furthest thing from what we experience here. And that's fine. We are just beginning this work. And whatever comes up is totally, totally welcome. All parts are welcome. So now we are going to place our attention on the conscious awareness below the belly button and allow ourselves to be there. And whenever the thoughts come, drop your attention between them, paying no attention as they float by. Now holding your attention deep inside, slowly allow your eyes to open, very slowly, holding your attention deep inside. Much of our practice is learning to be in two places at once. Holding your attention deep below the belly button. Allow yourself to be present here as well. Yes. So we welcome your experiences and your questions. This is all pretty new, but it makes sense that we're here. What better place to be at our age and stage, at any age and stage, but here it's undeniable. How may we serve this morning?
Thank you.
You're so welcome, and welcome here. We don't say names because this becomes a video, and we respect everyone's privacy.
Mind makes a lot of noise. But the core noise, the thing that seems like I might want to move is a compulsion to be seen, compulsion to be validated by outside things outside of me, people, events, the idea of not being real if I'm not seen, and not being seen.
There is this is actually part of what we call abundance practice. And when we focus on what it is we think we need, we're actually focusing on what we don't have rather than on what we want. And so we are actually telling the universe, because the universe doesn't hear not. So we're telling them we want more of what we already have, because we're focusing on what we don't have. But the universe, the multiverse, takes that as, give me more of this. So instead we have to imagine, well, there are two ways to do this. One is to focus on whatever you're doing in such a way that you become so good at it that you automatically attract the recognition you deserve. And so that's an important part of it. And the other part of it is to imagine that you have all the recognition you need. To just imagine that and focus on that. And believe it or not, it will come. This is the core of abundance practice, is that we are always pushing abundance away by thinking about what we don't have, what we need. God, give me this. That's how we. Instead, we say, thank you. I'm really good at what I do. Thank you. And we focus on the gratitude for having the opportunity to be a continuous improvement project in whatever it is we've undertaken. And we appreciate the level that we have achieved. You've achieved of a level of mastery that we never master anything, right? But you've achieved some level of mastery and you're wanting recognition of that. Yes. So, yeah, so you be grateful for what you've achieved, and that gratitude itself will attract the recognition. The other things that we feel, anything from anger to despair to these other things that we feel actually push away that which we desire, and those who wish to give it to us, because the channel for receptivity is not open. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Also, the internal place from which we how do we say this? Open-heartedness attracts open-heartedness. We'll just say it like that. Free flowing appreciation of others attracts free flowing appreciation of us. That's about as concise as we can be.
That's clear. So that means there's a heart block.
Well, the way you say it makes us feel like you're condemning yourself.
Not moving fast enough with forgiveness and letting go of the past is what I'm experiencing. Because I'm noticing it in other people. It's like, why can't somebody or other move on? Why doesn't this change? It's because it's not changing in me. And I don't know what the key is to moving my own level of acceptance and
question. How do we soften? How do we deal with our blocks? We all have them. This is what we were talking about in, really being able to relax the breath and then relax the mind. That these blocks are things that we inherited in our matrix of belief as we, became humans in this life. We were programmed with a whole matrix of belief without our knowledge or consent, because we had, we came in as pure awareness and a sponge. We're sponges. And what happens is that there are little pebbles in the sponge, in the parts of the sponge that can actually expand and contract. And so we have to let those go, and so that we can flow within ourselves. And the way to do that is to go toward the block and say, in yourself, what am I not seeing? Now, we know we just said don't say not because the multiverse doesn't hear it, but we are working in material reality. See, the the problem with how we speak is that we are in the 12th dimension, and humanity is in three-dimensional reality. And so in the big picture, which is where we start from, especially in the meditation practice, in the big picture, focus on love and everything instantly happens. In 3D reality, that, how many people do you see focusing on love around us? Not very many. And the ones who do can't always be recognized by design, intent, or circumstance. Doesn't matter which. But living from love is a fifth dimensional experience that is the next stage in the evolution of humanity. And so we are very much wanting to bring that into reality, to bring humanity from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, where everybody lives from abundance. It's sort of what you might imagine as the Sat Yuga. The four yugas in the Vedic astrology.
Yeah.
So really it's when people live from love and intuitive reality, where that is reality, rather than third dimensional reality, which is, this kind of give and take contractual, materialistic focus. Here we are on the earth, which is capable of incredible abundance. And by misunderstanding that and trying to own that and trying to control other people, the whole thing is kind of upside down. So we are in a position where the highest work we can do is to resolve the stuff within ourselves and become love itself. This is the highest calling a human being can have.
So that's I understand that, here, but what are first steps to leaning into the places we're blocked? What's the first step?
The first step is meditation. It's really, really getting quiet and allowing yourself to explore the block. Like being totally open to seeing what it is that you want to see so that you can change yourself.
Okay. So like a Buddhist sitting with it practice. Kind of, or just staying with feeling comes up, staying with it, following it, being curious. Is that?
Yes. And then you can write. Because,
yeah. Okay.
Some of the work is of the mind. You can use your mind to do some of your inner work, to write about whatever comes up. And brainstorming writing, like just allowing whatever emotion is most fluid in that center, write about that. And whatever past experience comes up that's attached to that emotion, write about that. I mean, this is real inner work about the nitty-gritty of what we haven't seen yet about ourselves. And so, yes, I'm curious, but it's an active thing. It's not, there is no magic wand that's going to touch you on the head and make you enlightened. It's just down and dirty. We're going to do the work to see who and where we are and what needs to flow in a different way and how we can do that. And that is all inside of us. And this forum is a place where you can bring what you find and we can help. That's why we're here. We want to help everybody. And, part of it is that we want people to know that birth and death are the same and that there is nothing to fear, that all our fear about what's inside, all our fear of dark is misunderstanding, and that our lives can be so much happier. Our lives can be lived from joy. And that doesn't mean that this life doesn't present plenty of opportunity for difficult experience that we live through, which is part of, because we've lived through difficult experience and want to know why we're here and what we're doing. That's why we're having this conversation. It takes a certain kind of willingness to be present here. And so congratulations. Because most people don't want to even entertain the idea, believe it or not, that happiness is possible. And that we can go through our lives with a certain amount of joy until the next thing rises up that we need to deal with, which usually presents itself as external circumstances.
Mm-hmm. Well, or physical problems. Well, I guess that's an external circumstance, isn't it?
Well, it is
like a health issue.
It's external to conscious awareness, but physical problems, once we understand that we are not the body, there is what we're teaching is the separation of conscious awareness and the physical body. And once we can understand that, then the conversation becomes, the body is experiencing this.
But is it partly that the body is reflecting? I mean, I have arthritis, which seems to be, so I watch it, reactive, where sometimes it's really, somebody hurts my feelings, that basically my body stiffens up and I have to go to bed. Something happens that brings up a strong emotion, my joints take it on, my lymph system fills me up with fluid. So it's not a constant thing. So I see that it's reactive. And I have the feeling that if I can, dealing with this, I'm tired dealing with, I'd like to move through the blocks that I keep manifesting in my body as pain. And, yes, all the other levels of how it's the things that I'm doing.
So
from a faulty perspective are interfering. I want to move it along. Shift it.
Okay, there are a few things you can do. One thing you can do is try to release the arthritis as a block in itself. And instead of, woe is me, what are you trying to teach me? Ask that question. And just allow yourself to wait for the answer. And, there are things you can do. A lot of arthritis has to do with dietary choices. And generally we say it's the foods that we like the best. It's
Sugar and salt. Yeah.
yeah, those are two big ones. And you might think about nightshades, and there are lots of books about diet and arthritis. Yeah, yeah. So
Potatoes. I'm Irish.
yeah, so usually, our go-to defensive foods that we use
Yeah.
to, make the feelings dimmer are the things that are causing some of our physical pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, giving up salt makes giving up potatoes easier, I suppose. But yeah, that's
well, try it for a
potatoes.
month. Don't do it for life. Try it for a month and see how you feel.
Yeah, you can do anything for a month.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So, our advice is always start small. Don't try to change everything at once because it'll last 3 days and you'll be done. Because it's not possible. So for one day, don't eat potatoes, and then try it for a
Hmm.
second day, and then, like that, until you really get the sense of whether it makes the difference or not. And after a month,
Oh, I
after a
know it
month,
makes a difference.
so there you
I,
go. So
I
just
already know it makes a difference. It's yeah, it's
do one
rebellion.
thing for one day,
Yeah.
and you can even have sweet potatoes instead. They're better
Hmm.
and taste better. So
Well, yeah, yeah.
always, if you can, find a better alternative.
Okay. Well, I've probably hogged a lot of time. You have 8 other people here, right? So I'm sure somebody else has questions.
Well, we find that, one person's questions are usually relevant to everybody else. So we don't ever feel like somebody's hogging the time. So don't you notice everybody's giving hand signals that they agree. So this is not
Oh,
not an uncommon question, and it's worthwhile.
okay. Thank you.
You're
Seems like
so
good
welcome.
good amount to work on for the next week.
Thank you for being here. Yeah, we're all grateful, you can see. So we welcome your feedback and questions. Yes, please.
Hi. Hi
Hi.
there. Hi, everybody. I've missed the past couple weeks, so it's nice to see you.
Well, we missed one of those too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I believe we were having some solar or the
solar flare.
the solar flares. We were in Eastern Oregon camping and we didn't see the major night, so unfortunately. But sure seemed like there was plenty of energy to go around and a little static stuff going on.
Yeah, there were a lot.
Yeah, a lot. So I have a very dear friend who's in hospice right now. His name is Swallow, and he's just went into hospice yesterday. And I wondered if you could guide us into a few moments of kind of embracing his passage. He's this pretty fun guy. Um, he's in his 90s, 92, I'd say. He's a biochemist. He walked peace walks with Martin Luther King. He considered himself a very wise man.
Right. Is he
And
terrified?
well, yes, we just got back the other day, and he called me the next day I got home and he called me Nancy Pooh. And so I got this message just like, Nancy Pooh. And he hung up. I didn't get that for a while. And he called me back later in the day and just told me he was dying. And he'd re-broken his hip. And he hadn't, I guess his son said he hadn't eaten for 4 or 5 days. So luckily we had an opportunity. Well, then he didn't stay long on the phone. I called him back later that day and just told him how important he was to me, and I'm holding him in love, and honestly, I think I spent the whole day just picturing I was with him, holding him, and it was like too much, too much, just thinking of him so much. And I don't know, just being a support. So I wondered if I could ask if all of us could go to the temple for a little bit.
Yes. And anything that we say in the temple that you think he might be helped by hearing, you are welcome to say to him. So we are going to speak directly to him.
Okay.
So for those who don't know, whenever we have an issue, any kind of issue with somebody in the material world, and we can't speak directly to them because we've tried that over and over and we know it doesn't work, or they are in a position like this gentleman where he is facing death, but unprepared mentally and emotionally. And so we can't just tell him, oh, death is ecstatic and it's the same as the birth process. That's not going to land at all. So what we do in these situations is we go to an Anasa temple. And generally, when we introduce the Anasa temple, we take people on a journey there where they actually go to a very, very pleasant environment, a pine forest, and are walking. And they wash their feet ceremoniously in a brook and, approach the temple with great respect and enter carefully, already in a quiet space in themselves. Since we're here today and time is sort of an issue, and most of us have been going to the Anasa temple for a long time, or are practiced enough that we can be respectful of an inner space, we're just going to go there. We're going to the door of an Anasa temple, which is a safe place in the ether. We'll say a little bit more about it, that whenever we feel threatened in the ether, we go to an Anasa temple because it's a place of love, and it's love and protection. And it's because in that moment, we can't go deep enough to love in ourselves. Whenever we're threatened, the thing to do is to go to love in ourselves, right? That takes us out of everything. But very often when we're threatened, we're kind of like this and we're all closed up and we can't do that. So we go to an Anasa temple. And there we can relax and feel safe and protected. So we're covered no matter what happens. And incidentally, if any of us were to die feeling like we haven't done all our work, go straight to an Anasa temple. And we'll probably do that anyway as part of the practice as we get going here, because we need all the help we can get.
He's not unfamiliar to meditation. He's a meditator.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And he's at the place where he realizes meditation hasn't brought him where he needs to be to fix this.
Yes.
And yes. So that's why we're here doing this now.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
So imagine this is one of us. It is one of us who has done absolute best to be ready. So close your eyes. We're at the doorway to an Anasa temple. And we're here as family,
Mm.
the greater family.
Mm.
And understand before we go in the door that it's family that waits for us on the other side, but it's not our birth family. It's our family, our energetic family. So we just felt a great wave of peace wash on everyone on this call. So we walk into the Anasa temple. There's plenty of room for all of us. And there's a place for each person to sit. On the floor, in a chair, on a pillow, whatever makes us comfortable is there for us already. And in the center, there is pure white light. And as we sit and open ourselves to our environment, we become pure white light. We forgot to ask his name, Nancy.
His name is Swallow.
Sorry?
Swallow.
Swallow. Yes. So we invite Swallow's higher self, as we are wrapped in our highest selves in this white light. We invite Swallow's highest self, which incidentally we'll mention as conscious awareness, into this white light. We feel into the stillness at the center. And we say to him, to his highest self, you are completely taken care of. Follow the white light. Pay no attention to anything else that might try to arise. Just follow the right white light. Feel the space of oneness of the highest best for the whole, which is surrounding you at all times in the white light. Be at peace, kind sir. You have lived well. There is no fight. This is a time for allowing. Yes, allowing is the most important word for you in this moment. Allow the gentleness to completely surround you. And guide you to the temple of love that awaits you. Be at peace. You have lived well. May you experience joy on your journey. Above all, follow the white light. Allow its continual embrace. You who have always searched for truth, this is the truth. Allow. We are surrounding you with white light that will travel with you beyond time and space. Travel well. Swallow, are you complete? We bow to you on your journey. We now can get up, walk outside the Inasa temple, and allow ourselves to very slowly open our eyes, holding to the conscious awareness inside. That was pretty much fun.
That was so wonderful. Thank you all. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you.
That was interesting. I don't know any of you. I'm meeting you except for Rebecca for the first time, and I could all see everyone around me in that place. I was aware of all of you sitting there, which was a new experience.
So you'll discover that our favorite word is allow. You know, we grew up with the idea of, Rebecca grew up with the idea of surrender. Surrender has so many masculine, male combat, you know, so much of that energy around it. And that's, we're not in a battle. Yes, there are battlefields that we encounter throughout our lives. And so on certain occasions, that's a welcome metaphor. But allow and the experience of death we find a much more welcoming and, the idea of surrender into joy is, it doesn't exactly work. And so that's where we are with language. And we're constantly, you'll notice that Rebecca struggles a lot with language because getting even fifth dimensional concepts into three-dimensional language, because three-dimensional language is limited to 3 dimensions, and it can only point to, for example, the experience we just had. Words cannot, three-dimensional language cannot hold that experience, except to say light. But light has so much more to it in terms of potency in an experience like that than the word light can convey. And so we're always kind of struggling for language, and we're reinventing a lot of what Rebecca was taught. We love that you have a Shri chakra there. That's very
Not finished yet. Working on it still.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, language, you can take the same group of words and add a different intention, and the words change. So it seems like the intention behind any words, and you can be in a room with somebody who doesn't speak English, but you know what they mean by their energy, so even it doesn't translate from 3D to 3D necessarily. It's
Well,
not just fifth dimension down, but
the thing is, when we use a word to describe something, we have automatically limited it, because it can only be what we understand that word to mean. And because life itself is unlimited, it's infinite possibility. So the very act of language creates limitation. And this is why things like omens are important, because they're beyond language. Omens and synchronicity, these are the two things that we talk about as what to watch for communication from the other dimensions, because they are beyond time and space. They come from beyond time and space, but they use time and space to inform us, because we are stuck in time and space. And NASA has no time and space, does not exist.
it's pretty hard to grasp that from here. No
Well,
time, no space.
Physics is telling us that that's the truth.
Sure, but our reality is like, well, I have to do this, and then I have to do that, and then I have to do this, and that happened, and then this happened, and then maybe that'll happen. It's a vortex of misunderstanding.
Well, I mean, we can't let go of that understanding, because we live in three-dimensional reality. So we still attempt to show up where we say we'll be, although it doesn't always happen. But and definitely periods where it's been impossible, where I'll set an alarm to meet somebody that goes off 5 minutes before, and I'm there in front of where I'm supposed to be, ready for the Zoom meeting. And next thing I know, 25 minutes has gone past. I mean, that's what happens when you know, go out of time and space for periods of time, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Because, and generally the people that this happens with are very forgiving. But that's another story and another conversation.
Well, and if they're not, you can just say you're welcome.
Well, try to be really good to everybody, especially when it's a mistake. No, I mean, it's just like, so we have no awareness of time without speaking of time and space. Thank you. We have time for another question or experience or whatever to address this morning. We're so happy to be with you. It feels remarkably lighter. So we're grateful for all the work everybody's been doing. Yes.
Just a quick request. There was a meditation or a mantra, I'm sorry, a mantra for enlightenment that you have brought up a couple of times, and I think Brenda even pasted it into the chat. And I thought I had it, but I don't. And I wonder if we could get that again.
Yeah, I'll find it and paste it again.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks for being here, Brenda.
I got you.
Yeah, you know, Brenda's been behind the scenes tech person for, what do we say? 8 years. Am I right?
Yeah, I continue to be amazed at when I look at all the files and the dates on them. But yes, it's been a
Yes.
bit,
8 years. She's
and
been,
it's only been a minute.
yeah, yeah. And so we've been evolving through this practice for a long time, and she is extremely competent beyond imagination and has made herself truly available. And who knows, this may even be an anniversary of such. We don't know.
It's an honor, truly.
Thank you so much. We are so grateful. So we're going to use that to remind you that everything is available on YouTube. All of our talking for a long time. And in a way, because of the evolution, some of it's outdated, but anyway, it's available. Brenda, could you tell them the exact way to get to the YouTubes?
It's hard to explain it, but in the email they received with this link for the Zoom link, on the bottom of that email is a link for the YouTube channel. And if you go to that, you can also like save it as your favorites in YouTube and subscribe to the channel, and then you'll get notifications when new videos are listed. That's the most immediate way at the moment. And I'm typing the mantra into the chat.
Oh, great. This is called the Mritya Manjaya mantra, which is the mantra for enlightenment. And it's a little bit long, but also on YouTube, there is a recording of a group of people doing it that we like a lot. And We'll sing it if you don't mind. Goes like this. Triambakam yijamahe sugandim pushtivartanam orva rukamiva bandhana mrityur mukshivamamritata. Now, it takes a while to do 108 of those, so that's not required, but if you could do 9 or 12 that in a day, that would be. And it's
Can I add something about that mantra?
Sure. Sure.
It's used all the time to prevent disasters traveling. It protects from tornadoes that are coming through, bad storms. It seals you up in a protection. So it's not just about, I mean, just about enlightenment. That's a pretty big one, but it also is a big spiritual protection mantra.
It's what to say whenever you feel like you're in trouble.
Yeah, well, but yeah, I mean, it's kept trees from falling on my house. It's kept wires from. I've used it in weather disasters, and it's powerful. So anyway, that's what I was taught about it. An extra use for it.
Thank you. I almost said your name.
It's in the it's in the chat, so if you want to say it so people can kind of follow along, because they're big long words with a lot of vowels and stuff.
Triambakam yijamahe sugandim pushtivartanam orva rukamiva bandhana mrityur mukshivamamritata. I'll do it a third time just to be complete. Om Triambakam yijamahe sugandim pushtivartanam orva rukamiva bandhana mrityur mukshivamamritata. Maybe we should do that Wednesday nights for a while. Would that be fun? Well, we'll try it once and see how it goes. Andrew, anything? Anybody?
I wanted to, good morning. I want to thank you, Nancy, for your request. It was so beautiful for us as a group to go to the Anasa temple. And I've been doing the Osho Bardo practice and quite distressed to discover my fear of death, which I was not aware of. But thank you for talking about allowing. So I'm going to apply that to my fear and just allow myself to be fearful until I work through that. So thank you so much, and best wishes to Swallow.
Thank you so much for that. We know how hard you're working, and it's so beautiful to see the light that surrounds you is dazzling. Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to report with that meditate or going to the Nasa temple was just so powerful. I felt this energy just flowing out my head. It was like contact. Is what it felt like to me. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
You're so welcome. We're so grateful to all of you. The gestalt that happens as there are more and more of us, gaining capacity. It's so beautiful. The white light doesn't lie. So on that note, I think we can go back into meditation and sort of end our program today that way, from that space. So we're going to repeat again. We've sort of changed our directions today. So we're going to repeat them while everybody's present, so that they begin to become a new order of meditation, which is, first of all, relax your body. Well, first of all, bring your attention to we'll just talk you into meditation again. Let's just do it, because you will remember from the doing, not from the telling. So let's bring our attention into the energy center below the belly button. And breath follows intention. So if we hold our attention and intention below the belly button, our breath will follow. So allow your body to relax. We generally do that from the feet up. And any place that you feel some holding in your body, allow it to let go. And when your body is relaxed, bring your attention again to below the belly button and your breath. Feeling into this space below the belly button. Breathing there and allowing that space between the breaths to expand. Welcome any experience that comes, any feeling. Releasing yourself into the space between the breaths. Relaxing your breath. You will reach a place where you can allow yourself to be breathed. Now gently begin to relax the mind, holding attention in the space below the belly button, allowing our awareness to drop between the thoughts. Understanding that as expansion and contraction are part of the birth process, they are equally part of the death process. We're focusing on the expansive part because it's the part we don't know about. Allow yourself to become pure light. your mind starts to wander, bring it back and drop it between the thoughts. Thank you so much for coming. This has been a really, really wonderful time together. We look forward to seeing you again soon. So much love. Bye for now.